Everybody, I promised you guys a video on how to do the reading response direct quote analysis. So I promised you in the syllabus video, it's not hard to do and it's worth a lot of points. So let me show you how to do it. So in modules where all the magic happens for a class, right? So let's look at, by the way, as you guys probably know already, I bundled the class by week. So your first reading homework is actually in week 2. The first week you're just getting your books. Because here in week 2, and this is for every week, you'll see week 3, there's your reading homework, reading response. Week 4, week 5. In any case, let me show you how to do it. So let's go to week 2. So you'll click on that. It'll open up, and I'm not sure why my screen is kind of too small. It doesn't show you the whole page, but it'll be good enough. So there is your reading for the week. You guys will read Truman pages 15 to 31. And then there's a separate reading, pages 32 to 38. And that is in Truman. And then in your other textbook, for the record, you guys will read pages 4 to 7, a piece called Black Coats in Mississippi that was written in 1865. Okay, so that's your reading homework for the week. So how do you do the reading response direct quote analysis? And that's what I'm going to show you right now. So just for a minute here, let's look again. So in Truman, you have 2 separate readings, the 15 to 31, and you'll see a little and. By the way, this and is super important, both for the Truman readings and for your textbook for the record, which is this guy right here. Whenever you guys see an and, that means that's a separate reading, and that means you'll find separate quotes for that one too. So for Truman in this case, there's 2. There's 15 to 31 right there. And then once you finish that one, there'll be pages 32 to 38. Now, for this week, the first week, I only assigned 1 assignment in your textbook for the record, and you see right there, pages 4 to 7. But oftentimes in later weeks, there might be 2 or 3. In fact, let's go find one. Let's see. Let's go to week 3 here. Okay, and unfortunately, I'm not sure why, but my screen's too big for my little recording thing. Anyway, it'll work. So in this case, you see for Truman, there's 2 readings. There's pages 66 to 80, and then there's pages 102 to 120. And then in your other textbook, you'll see that actually there's 2 readings this time. You'll see pages 20 22, Andrew Carnegie's From Wealth, and then you'll see a little and then again, this is really important because it's letting you know there's a second assignment. That's pages 28 to 29, and that goes off the screen. You guys can't see it, but it'd be Edward O'Donnell's Women's Breadwinners. It comes back on the page. So in this case, you have 4 specific ones. Let me show you one more. Let's go to the later week. So let's scroll down. Let's see here. Let's go all the way down to week 7. What do we got here? Okay. So again, you have, in this case, it's later on in the semester, you guys have 2 read assignments for Truman, pages 221, 241, excuse me. And you see the and, again, let you know, separate assignment coming, 241, 252. And then in your other textbook, for the record, you have page 98 to 102. And then, unfortunately, actually, hold on, you guys can see it now. There it is, and you see the and right there, right? And then pages 157 to 159, W.E.B. Du Bois, Returning Soldiers. So you have 2 assignments here in your textbook, although both are short. Okay, so with all that explanation, let's go back again. Let's go back in time to week 2. Oops. And then move that over so you guys can see. There we go. And let's scroll back to your first reading assignment. There we go. Okay, so that's our first assignment right there. So page 15 to 31 and 32 to 38. And then we just have 1 reading for that first week because I'm easing you guys in nice and slow. And that's pages 4 to 7. Okay, now let me show you what the assignment's going to look like. So you'll read that. But as you'll read that, you'll have your laptop handy or your computer handy, and let me show you what you're going to do. Now, you're going to create, you'll find a bunch of quotes, and I'll show you in just a minute what that looks like, and then you respond to them, significance or a question, and you'll save those all in a Word document. At the midterm, you'll turn it in, and in the second half of the semester, you'll start over again with the questions from the midway point at the midterm, and you'll do all those quotes and significance and questions, and that'll take you all the way to the final. So you actually only turn this in twice. So most days you'll simply be saving it. So let me show you right now what that's going to look like. Here we go. So in your document, you'll put the week you're working on. In this case, since as you guys know, we're starting my samples for week 2. So you'll put week 2. It's important for you guys to do that. So please follow format as I'm showing you guys. So you put week 2, and then you put your first assignment, which is David McCullough's Truman. Oops. Let me edit that. That should be in italics. There we go. And then you'll put quote and significance. So make sure you guys put a little bullet in there, quote and significance. And then, again, you'll pick yours. I simply picked one in my sample. From that page reading from 1531, you'll find a quote there, and you'll write that quote out like you see I've done right there. Although, apparently when I was working this, I was tired because I got to edit it right now. Okay, there we go. So let's read that. So this is a quote I found. This is on page 28 and goes to page 29. It says, the worst atrocity, the unpardonable Lawrence massacre, was committed by Quantrill, a brave, ingenious, wretched man who was continuously in and out of the Jackson County. Man, I guess I was really tired. County, hiding in the heavy brush of the winding Blue River bottoms. That's the quote I chose. Now, you'll choose a quote that appeals to you. Now, after you put that quote in there, put the page number. So put parentheses page. In this case, it started at the bottom of page 28, then moved on over to 29. And then after you do your quote right there, and after you put in the pages where you got that, you'll briefly, in 1 or 2 sentences, describe why that quote is significant. Could be to the story of Truman's life or those around him, or to you. It could be either way. So here's what I put. David McCullough in this quote appears to show an objective assessment of Quantrill, who McCullough acknowledges was a brave, ingenious man, but who was also a wretched man, who committed unpardonable atrocity of the Lawrence massacre. So my point with that is, McCullough's trying to show you this guy's a bad dude, but people are complex. Yeah, he had some good qualities. No, these good qualities he often put to bad ends. So these good qualities don't balance out the bad things he's doing. But McCullough just like, but I want you to know who this guy is. He's smart, brave, ingenious means he's very creative, but tragically he employs a lot of that for dark reasons. But I like this because McCullough's, while he's saying this guy is essentially a bad guy, but he's also saying, but I want you to know why he's quite successful and why he's quite famous, because, yeah, he was brave in combat. He was creative, ingenious in finding ways to fight and so forth. Now, it doesn't mean McCullough's praising him. He's not praising him. He's just saying, yeah, he was talented. Talented, but tragically put to dark ends. So I'm just commenting on that. Okay, so the very first one is quote and then significance, either to the story or to what you see, either way. And then your second quote, again, same section, 15 to 31, you'll put quote and question. In this case, I wrote, Jim Crow, whose nickname was said to be bestowed in boyhood for his exuberant performance in a popular dance called the Jim Crow Set, belonged to one of the original pioneer families in the country, and the large landholders she stood in well with the young. There we go, with the youngs. That's page 29 where I got that. And then my question is, based on that quote I just chose, was the dance the Jim Crow Set a minstrel show inspired dance? Because Jim Crow is often a stage character in these blackface minstrels, and it was called Jim Crow. So when I saw, by the way, also you read about Jim Crow, you know from what you'll read that he's very racist toward African Americans. It'd be not surprising that his nickname is from probably a mocking dance he did from a blackface minstrel show he had seen, and he liked to do that dance as a way of mockery. By the way, I don't know that, but just that's my question. So his nickname, Jim Crow, yeah, that's a nickname. Is that from these racist blackface minstrel shows, which were very popular in the time, in the say, especially from a dance? I don't know the answer to that. That's what my question is. Does it make sense what you guys are doing there? So remember, in the second one, you'll simply put out the quote the quote you found that raises some kind of question in your mind, and then simply put the page number or write out what that question is. Now, don't choose something typical like a definition or just a word. Like, what does atrocity mean? That's something you can just look up. But just as you read, you come across things like, I don't know, what is this? Perfect. Just write that quote down, put the page number, and briefly explain what is your question about that quote. Does that make sense? Okay, so you'd be doing the same thing too, only difference is you'll find quotes that appeal to you. So let's go on to the second part of the assignment, and this is, remember, pages 32 to 38. It's the same deal, and I'll make this, I don't want this video too long, but same deal, right? So again, I chose a quote. For the youngs, as for the childs, is a tragedy of terrible proportions, and one they refuse to discuss, then or later, though it said Solomon Young cursed his daughter Sally, and that Martha Ellen, her father's pet, burned a portrait of Jim Crow. Then again, I got that from page 34 in Truman. And then I wrote, one makes one think that most families or extended relatives have someone who brings stress and heartburn to the rest of the family. But it's not easy to match the pain and loss that Jim Crow brought to his immediate extended family and the larger community he terrorized. Yeah, you guys haven't got there yet. When you read about him, this guy is a mean, racist, violent SOB. But he marries into, actually, he would have been Harry Truman's uncle. So speak of having bad dudes in your family, a low-down, racist, violent, murdering criminal, and this guy is in the family of Harry Truman. It would have been his uncle. Now, Harry Truman did not live to see this guy, but he would have been Harry Truman's uncle. All right. So then remember, after you do quote significance, you do your second one, right? That's quote and question. So in this case, I chose Cole Younger turned desperado with his brothers joined forces with two who had fought with Quantrell, Frank and Jesse James. That was on page 33. And I wonder what happened to Cole Younger and his brothers. Based on their violent experiences under Quantrell and later with the James brothers, I imagine they did not die peaceful deaths in bed surrounded by loved ones. Perhaps you guys know Jesse James, and Quantrell was a mean, violent, racist guerrilla in the Civil War. And Cole Younger, who's mentioned briefly, had joined him. And then after the war was over, he joined the Frank and Jesse James gang. There were robberies and so forth and violence. And so I'm just guessing, man, I wonder what happened to that guy. I'm guessing he didn't die peacefully. All right, and finally, your last piece assignment, right? This is from the other textbook, this guy right here. But oftentimes you have two short assignments here. This time you only have one, right? Occasionally you have three, although usually quite short. But this time only one. So in this case, Black Codes, Mississippi. And I think for time, I'm not going to go through all this, but you can read through it on your own. But there's my quote right there, right? There's the page. Make sure you guys put parentheses, put the P period in the page number where you got it from, and just put out like why this strikes you. Like what is it significant, either to the story or to you. Just want you to be thoughtful. By the way, in all these, I just want you to be thoughtful. That's what I'm looking for. Show me you're engaging with the text. You don't have to write like I do. You get. And the nice thing is you guys choose your own quotes, right? I just want you guys to put thought into it. When I grade these, typically students get all the points. The only reason they miss the points is they don't do the reading, so obviously they have no quotes, and they have no quote significant, no quote and question, because they didn't do the reading and they don't have anything. Or the only time the other way they would lose points is I can tell from the quote, not so much from the quote, but from the significance or the question that the student found that they put no thought into it. That's the only reason you would lose points. Otherwise, you get all the points, and this is worth a lot of points. So. And then again, here's your question, quote and question. So there's my quote right there. There it is right there. There's my quote. There's the page where I got it from, and there is my question. So I think you guys got it. You're doing a two-step dance, right? For every reading, you're finding the quote, explaining its significance. Again, it could be to the larger story, that's fine, or to you. Either way. I don't care which way, just be thoughtful. And then the second step, the second part of the dance, right, is the same thing. You find a quote, only this time, instead of explaining its significance, you'll bring a question that is inside that quote. Something in that quote got you thinking, like, what's going on here? I don't know. Perfect. So just write out briefly, again, a sentence or two, what is your question related to that quote? What is it in that quote you want to know that you don't understand or you'd like to know more of? Again, you'll save this on a running Word document. You only turn it in twice a semester. At the midterm, you'll turn in all these questions from the first 8 weeks. I'm sorry, first 9 weeks, because we're an 18-week semester. So first 9 weeks of the semester, you will turn in all these questions. I'm sorry, questions. I'll show you all these quotes and significance and quotes, and so you turn them all in. And they'll all be bundled here by week. So I did week 2 for you. I didn't do it for you. You guys do your own. But I showed you week 2's look like. So after that, you right here, you have week 3, then you have Truman and your textbook, then week 4, then week 5, week 6. It all adds up, and you just keep saving it in this Word document. When you turn it in, put this cover page on it. You'll see David McCullough's Truman, and there's your other textbook for the record. This guy right here, and you'll put your name there on the cover page and our class information, and you'll upload this in modules. It should be in week 9. So look in modules week 9. You'll see reading response to readings, direct quote analysis, number 1, and you'll upload this big document you'll have by then of all these quotes you found, their significance and questions for each of those first 9 weeks of the semester, and you'll upload it. And again, you'll get a lot of points because it's worth a lot of points. So it's going to really add up and really help you guys grade out. And hopefully, above all, the point of this is not busy work. The point of this is to get you guys thinking about the text. You guys might find something you come across like, wow, this is powerful. I really like this. Or maybe this disturbs me. It could be that too. Or whatever your reaction to it is, right? And you have a significance to that, or maybe you find a different quote, and you question about like, why would they have done this? Why would Harry have thought this? I don't get it. Or whatever it is. So hopefully that makes sense to you guys, and maybe I'll stop right here. That's probably enough. But I would encourage you guys to do a good job with this. Keep up with the readings. Don't fall behind. If you don't do the readings and then you fall behind, it's going to get rough. I'm just telling you. This class relies heavily on the 2 books you guys are reading. David McCullough's Truman, which you just read parts of this, and then the textbook for the record. So you need both of these. Keep up. If you keep up, won't be so bad. Every week will be, not bad at all. You'll find the quotes, and you'll do the significance and the question, and you go on to the next one, and you'll be fine. You'll be in good shape. Now, if you fall behind and 2 or 3 weeks go by, you're not doing the reading, you're not doing the direct quote analysis, you can either drink a lot more than just that. That's going to get really tough. So I encourage you guys, for your own good, stay up every week. Make sure every week you get your reading done. I think you guys will enjoy it. Be good for you guys intellectually. There's a lot there to really chew on both David McCullough's Truman and also your textbook for the record. And keep up the questions at the midterm. You'll turn these all in. And the second half of the semester, you'll start a new document with week 10 through week 18. And you'll upload that in finals week. All right, that's it. I hope that makes sense to you guys. It's not hard. Just follow the format, please, just like I showed you guys, all this stuff right here. Remember, make sure you guys put the week there. Don't just run all the questions together, right? Make sure you divide it. So it's critically important. Put the week there. Then you, again, see the Truman section. So follow this format carefully. It'll be good for you. And when I grade it, if it's like this, it's really easy for me to grade. If you start doing your own thing and burn all the questions there, I'll probably lose some points, and it's going to be a headache for you and for me. So please don't do that. Follow format just like you guys see here. Quote and significance, put a little bullet in there. Put your quote in there. Page number, don't forget the page number. Then your brief explanation. And then quote and question. There's your quote. There you go, bingo. There's the page number, and there is your question there, just like that. And then you move on to the next section. So hope that makes sense to you guys. Let me go over one more time to get more space. There we go. There we go. Hope that makes sense to you guys. It's not hard to do. You guys do very well in this video. Really positive impact on your grading. It better help you process and digest what you guys are reading. So with that, I'm out. We'll see you guys with the next video. Take care, everybody.